Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. I'm going to talk about Trump and Time Magazine and the rage and the mainstream media and all of this stuff that's going on right now in the world and how crazy this last month plus has been. Turns out that despite the fact that people were speculating Kamala Harris was going to be on the cover of Time Magazine, it's Donald Trump again. He was on the cover in 2016, and it's definitely been his year, love him or hate him. And he's saying the mainstream media loves him now. And they're starting to come around to it. I think because they realize that there's not as much money to be made in hating Trump because not as many people in this country seem to hate Trump as they thought. Or people that maybe weren't on board the Trump train last time were like, well, it's still better than the last 4 years. It's just suck it up and do another 4 years of Donald Trump. But we're going to talk about the media liking Trump more. And Time Magazine putting him on the cover. And I read the interview, and it doesn't seem like they were trying to sabotage him. Now, meanwhile, on BlueSky, where it's always 2017, people are raging about Trump. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to clownfishminus.com. We got some merch out here. You can help support the channel. You can also get exclusive content. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, this is the big story today, that Trump is on the cover of Time Magazine. And even the Washington Post covered it. And I did a search for Hitler, and they didn't compare him to Hitler. And I'm very surprised about that. And then we're going to go out to BlueSky, and that's all they're doing is comparing him to Hitler. But this is coming from The Wrap via Yahoo News. Trump says his mainstream media, the opinion of him has tamed down. They're liking us much better now. In a sign that the holiday spirit is in the air, Donald Trump had some kind words for the media on Thursday, fresh off being named Times Person of the Year. The president-elect, while visiting the New York Stock Exchange to ring the opening bell, thanked the outlet for the honor and said the magazine was run by very professional people because they like him. Trump also shared his thoughts on the mainstream media overall, saying the media's tamed down a little bit. They're liking us much better now, I think. If not, we'll just have to take them on again, and we don't want to do that. Trump added, indicating the good vibes may not extend into his second term. I think it's desperation because we're going to talk about, the media outlets and how they are imploding. I mean, we've been talking about this. We've been covering it. MSNBC and CNN. And I think The View's not long for this world. But I think it's just good business, right? I think at the end of the day, when you realize that half the country or more supports Donald Trump, maybe not enthusiastically, but they think he's better than Biden and probably Harris, so what are you going to do? Tell half your potential customer base that you don't want them? Because here's the thing, that particular half, they've got most of the money. So they're gonna, and we saw this in tech. I mean, just how quickly everything pivoted. It was like, oh, Trump's getting reelected. Cool, let's call him up. I mean, you had Tim Cook from Apple. You had the CEO of Google. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But talking to Donald Trump, you had Zuckerberg crawling out of the woodwork to talk to Donald Trump. They're all like, hey, man, welcome back. Before they're like, oh, he's literally Hitler. He's literally Hitler, guys. They said he was flanked by several members of his upcoming administration, including J.D. Vance and RFK, while sharing his thoughts. His wife Melania and daughters Ivanka and Tiffany also joined Trump on stage to ring the bell. The last time a president or president-elect rang the opening bell was Reagan in 1985. This actually feels, now look, I was a kid in the 80s, but all indicators that I can see, this reminds me of the 70s going into the 80s. Like, we are looking at basically the end of wokeness, the end of the corporate media being this puppet for the woke mind virus, or whatever the hell is going on. We've got Elon Musk buying Twitter and turning it into X. We have optimism about the future for once, technology and the economy and things might actually turn around. And that was a huge step up. I mean, if you look at, 79 going into 80, again, going back to Reagan, like the late 70s, people were pretty damn low. I mean, the 70s, people were pretty damn low. It was not the greatest decade for a lot of people. And then the 80s happened. It was just like a light switch got flipped. It's like, boom, everybody's got money. The music's good. We got our MTV. We got computers. Like everything was happening. And, Trump was there. He was part of it. Again, love him or hate him. He was in the thick of it back then. So maybe we'll have 80s part 2. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? I'd be okay with that. I'd be fine with that. He had, by his estimation, 25% of Times covers are great, while he prefers to hide the rest. Later in his remarks, Trump thanked some of his friends in the audience, including Jonathan Karl, ABC's chief. Wait, what? Jonathan Karl, ABC's chief Washington correspondent. John, you've done a great job at ABC. I'm really proud of you, and you've been so nice to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't acknowledge you here at all. And he's been very combative with members of the press. The Washington Post, they did a story on him. And they're just like, he was the biggest news this year. Times editor-in-chief Sam Jacobs wrote it was not a difficult choice this year since the beginning. Since he began running for president in 2015, perhaps no single individual has played a larger role in changing the course of politics in history than Trump. On the cusp of his second presidency, all of us, from his most fanatical supporters to his most fervent critics, are living in the age of Trump. They're calling it the age of Trump. Because that's the thing. Even if you hate him, your personality is dictated by Trump. And we've seen this. And we talk about, Trump derangement syndrome. And there are so many people out there whose entire personalities are hating Donald Trump. That is their personality. That is their reason that they get up in the morning, is to basically curse his name and spit, kind of like some old Italian woman, like, whatever. You got to, spit on that thing. She disappeared, by the way. Nobody knows what happened to Hocktail Girl. Nobody knows what happened to her. Yeah. So, they're actually giving him pretty good coverage, again, in the Washington Post, which, they got slapped down by Bezos because they wouldn't endorse a candidate, because I think he knew which way the wind was blowing. And it is definitely a red wind. So here's the original post. Let's see what the tweets are like here. How it started versus how it's going. We had better people, but decided to go with a convicted felon. Time is a joke. How would you summarize Donald Trump in one word? Time. Hell no. Imagine idealizing this man. Donald Trump is a civil rights icon of our time. Nobody even comes close. This is Burt Macklin. Burt Macklin. There we go. This fits perfectly. Yeah. So everybody's bringing up the Hitler comparison, of course. Yeah. So it's the drunk of the year time. Yeah. A lot of people thought Harris was going to be the person of the year. And it was Taylor Swift last year. And I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, regardless of what you think of Taylor Swift, I mean, she had a really good year last year. Well, let's go to BlueSky, though. Things are very different on BlueSky. This is like the first thing that comes up. I literally just log into BlueSky, and I don't even know if I'm following anybody over there. I'm not interacting really. I'm just kind of observing. But like the first thing that comes up is Trump and Time magazine putting convicted felons and rapists on their cover now. How disgraceful. Mike Lee, we got evil doesn't die, it reinvents itself. Oh my God, here we go. Exactly. So this is what it would have looked like if Elon hadn't bought Twitter. Biggest loser. We're all losers because of him. Divided States of America. I give you Trulon, the real purchase president of the divided States of America. This Vance is out for now. Yeah, Vance has really been kind of laying low compared to Elon. Elon's like the first bestie. It's really weird. F Trump. You got another 4 years to look at it. F you, MAGA. Oh my God. This is just crazy. Yeah, so Hitler, Stalin, Khrushchev, and the Ayatollah. He's in good company. Thanks for the information. Yeah, so, yeah. Trump Scott. People are going over there just trolling. F Trump and F Time magazine, period. Look, everything is changing. I mean, regardless, of what your personal thoughts on Donald Trump are, businesses are very receptive to him coming back. The media is now very receptive to him coming back because really everybody wants to make money again. That's the truth. Everybody wants to make money again. Because the country, the last 4 years, it's been terrible. It's been absolutely terrible. Businesses have collapsed. We lived through the pandemic, which was way more dystopian than it needed to be because of the lockdowns, the mandates, and all that shit. And it does feel like we're kind of crawling out of a cave now, at least to me. And you're talking to a guy who is, I'm very much as much as I like to do art and I'm into nerd stuff, I'm very much a capitalist. So I'm like, yeah, this is going to be good for the economy. I can't imagine what a Harris economy would look like. I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't know what the hell that was going to look like. I knew we'd probably have to pay a lot more taxes. We'd have to pay a lot more taxes to bankroll a lot of these idiotic programs. So, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting, though. I think the media is going to warm up to him. I think they're going to have to. They don't have much of a choice. Again, a one-off, okay. But we're talking 2 for 2 now. So, going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.